You are exhausted because you are playing a game you can never win. You are trying to please everyone, and it is silently destroying your potential. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a mathematical byproduct of where you choose to place your energy. When you attempt to please everyone, you are essentially outsourcing your self-worth to the opinions of strangers, neighbors, and critics. You are handing the steering wheel of your life to people who aren't even sitting in the passenger seat. The psychological reality is rooted in what psychologists call the approval trap. In 1951, Solomon Asch conducted a series of experiments that proved just how far humans will go to avoid social friction. He showed participants a line of a specific length and asked them to compare it to 3 others. When everyone else in the room, who were actors, purposefully picked the wrong line, 75% of the test subjects conformed at least once, even though they knew the answer was wrong. They chose to be wrong rather than be the person who stood out. That experiment was 70 years ago, but the mechanism remains identical today. Your brain is hardwired to fear social rejection because, for most of human history, being kicked out of the tribe was a literal death sentence. But in the modern world, being the odd one out is not a threat to your survival. It is the primary requirement for your success. Truly confident people understand the law of polarization. If you have an opinion, a brand, or a mission that resonates with someone, it must, by definition, repel someone else. If you are not offending anyone, you are not influencing anyone. You are simply background noise. Look at Steve Jobs. In the early 1980s, he was ousted from Apple because his uncompromising vision for the Macintosh made life difficult for the middle management who wanted to play it safe. He didn't try to make them happy. He tried to make history. When he returned in 1997, he killed over 70% of Apple's product line. He didn't ask for permission, and he didn't care if the product managers were hurt. He knew that to build something great, you have to be willing to disappoint the people who want you to remain mediocre. When you try to please everyone, you end up with a diluted product. You end up as a watered-down version of yourself. You become a beige wall in a world that needs color. The strategy of the people pleaser is to mitigate risk. They think if they are nice enough, quiet enough, and helpful enough, they will be safe from criticism. But here is the secret. You will be criticized anyway. You will be criticized for your actions, and you will be criticized for your inaction. You will be criticized if you fail, and you will be criticized if you succeed. Since the criticism is inevitable, you might as well be criticized for being exactly who you are. Think about the most successful people you know. Do they bend to the whims of the crowd? No. They set the pace. They create the standard. When you are confident, you realize that your time is a finite resource. You have roughly 28,000 days on this planet if you live to be 80. Every hour you spend trying to manage someone else's perception of you is an hour you are stealing from your own growth. Confidence is the result of keeping promises to yourself, not keeping up appearances for others. When you stop trying to please everyone, you suddenly find yourself with a surplus of time, energy, and mental clarity. You stop reacting to the world and start acting upon it. Consider the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. In your social and professional life, 80% of your fulfillment comes from 20% of your relationships. When you focus on pleasing everyone, you treat all opinions as equal. That is a mistake. The opinion of someone who doesn't know you, doesn't respect you, and isn't invested in your growth should be worth exactly 0. By trying to please the majority, you effectively lower your standards to meet the lowest common denominator. Confident people practice the art of the no. They say no to requests that don't align with their values. They say no to environments that demand they shrink themselves. They say no to the need for validation. Every time you say no to the wrong people, you are saying yes to your own integrity. There is a profound freedom in being disliked. When you realize that the world didn't end because you disappointed someone, the shackles fall off. You stop walking on eggshells and start walking with purpose. You begin to attract the people who actually align with your vision because you have finally stopped hiding behind a mask of universal agreeableness. The people who are truly worth pleasing will respect your boundaries. They will respect your focus. They will respect the fact that you have a spine. The only people who get angry when you set a boundary are the people who benefited from you having none. So, ask yourself, what is the cost of your people pleasing? How many projects have you abandoned? How many dreams have you shelved? How much of your personality have you censored just to make someone else feel comfortable? You are not on this earth to be a mirror for other people's expectations. You are here to be a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't try to please the ships. It doesn't move to accommodate the boats that are going in the wrong direction. It stands firm. It emits a constant, unwavering light, and because it stays put, it saves the ships that actually want to arrive at the harbor. Stop trying to be liked by everyone. Aim to be respected by those who matter. And more importantly, aim to be someone you actually respect yourself. The moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you become impossible to control. That is not just confidence, that is power. If you don't define your own worth, the world will do it for you. And it will give you a discount. Stop apologizing for your existence. Stop begging for permission to grow. The people who are watching you right now are waiting to see if you have the courage to choose yourself. Will you continue to play the game of the crowd, or will you finally start playing your own? The choice is not about being arrogant. It is about being honest. When you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. When you stand for something, you are finally free. The next time you feel the urge to appease, to soften your stance, or to shrink your voice, remember, the most dangerous thing you can do is live a life that belongs to someone else. You are the only one who has to live with your choices at the end of the day. Make sure they are yours.